Good evening, everyone. And I know it's late. I know it's late on the East Coast. It has to almost be close to like 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock on the East Coast side. You know, the sun is just peaked down on the West Coast, and I think I'm running to like about 8 o'clock, 8:30 thereabouts. But if you just so happens you're up and you want to join us tonight, we certainly would appreciate it. But if not, when you're watching this, I hope that you get something from it as always. So tonight we're going to talk about Freemasonry and martial law. So some of you may say, well, how do you see Freemasonry and martial law? Well, when how I'm going to put this. When you think about Freemasonry, you think about the unity of the fraternal order and the Order of the Eastern Star. When you see Freemasons and Eastern Stars, most people in society see Freemasonry and the Eastern Stars as one huge family. That's how they see it. They see it as one huge family. And there's an allusion to that. But tonight, we're going to crack the code on the illusion of Freemasonry and the true essence of Freemasonry. And we're going to bring it all together because I think a lot of us is really missing the essence of Freemasonry. And I've said it before, and we're missing the essence of the Order of the Eastern Star of the Order of the Eastern Star. So tonight we're talking about Freemasonry and martial law. Well, I work in the healthcare field. For those of you who know me, and I know right now in many parts of the world and in the country, they're talking about this coronavirus, which was actually found in December 2019 was the time frame of the outbreak. And the United States was notified, and nothing never really happened. And now we have it here in the United States, and we know that over in I want to say Italy, they have shut down the whole country, and they have instituted a form of martial law. Now, let's not think that that can't happen here in the United States. Let's not underestimate what's actually taking place because we have dealt with viruses before, okay? And coronaviruses has been around for a long time, but this is a different type of coronavirus that we're dealing with. The best thing you can do when you're dealing with any viruses is to really take care of yourself. This particular virus deals with respiratory system. There's a whole lot more with it, and I tell anybody working in the healthcare field, the best thing we do always, we wash our hands. We do not put our hands in our faces. And if you have a weak respiratory system, you can come down with it easily. But that's for a whole nother show. But tonight we're talking about Freemasonry and martial law. And I know a lot of people are probably saying, well, where does that come into play? Where does that come into play? And if you don't know where that comes into play, I'm going to help you out tonight. So look, I'm back up. Everything should be running. I shouldn't have any more problems. Like I had the other day, I had to log off a couple of times and come back on. So tonight we shouldn't have that problem. So if you want to call into the show tonight, I don't even know if my administrative person is up tonight. Brother Larry Diamond, I don't know. I have to give him a shout out and check and see if he's up. And if so, he can come on tonight. And we're going to talk about Freemasonry and martial law. And where does that play a part? And just because you got to think. Come on now, you got to think. I'm going to see what you put in the chat line. Welcome everybody onto the show tonight. Greetings everyone. I appreciate you coming on. Before I go into the farther end of the show, I just want to welcome everybody aboard and who's on. Let's see. Robert Harvey, you can put your message back up, man. We all good. We don't usually take down anything unless it's totally disrespectful. Greetings everybody. Greetings everybody. What about the Morning Star? That's for another show, but right now we're going to talk about Freemasonry and martial law. And where does that play a part? How does that play a part in Freemasonry? I'm going to share it with you. Law is my game. All right, Big Hoop. Welcome aboard. When law is your game, you know exactly where I'm going with this, Dan. You know exactly where I'm going with this. Because I'm going to tell you this. I don't know what are your thoughts, but I don't believe any of us, including myself, has really seen the essence of Freemasonry and how how Freemasonry really works. We may have experienced it somewhere along the line, but I'm just talking about on a whole nother level. Peace and greetings. What's up, Illuminated Light? Peace and greetings. I'm just saying on a whole nother light. I don't believe we have experienced the true essence of Freemasonry and how Freemasonry can really move about in such a way till it is unknowings to the society. I mean, because as you know, and I know, you can go pick up many books on Freemasonry. You can buy Duncan's, Lester's. You can do all of that. But it's something about being initiated in the craft versus picking up a book and reading about it. It's different. And for those of you who have been initiated in the craft and understand that, then your perception about someone else who claims to be a Mason is different. And we're gonna play off of this tonight because, this is a little different. This is a little different when you're talking about Freemasonry and martial law. And I'm going to say this: if martial law hits the but when martial law hits, Freemasonry is going to go on the ground. Hear me clearly. You see these big, beautiful buildings, these lodges, and everybody's fussing about my charter this, I'm regular this. That's going to cease to exist when the true essence of Freemasonry come about. Oh, you don't think so? I just need you to holler back at me. I just need, really, when the true essence of Freemasonry come on target, all of this he said, she said, I got mine, yours is this and yours is that, that's going to go out the window when the true essence of Freemasonry shows itself. And the reason it's going to go out the window is because Freemasonry is going to go totally silent. All of this and this, people going to start wearing it. They are. I'm just letting you know. So we can start preparing ourselves for whatever. And it is what it is. It has happened throughout time. Freemasonry disappears and it comes back up as something else. The first time it happens, we know, we've heard the stories about Knights Templars, we've heard the stories about the mystery schools, and boom, here's Freemasonry again, under the name Freemasonry. Free thinkers, builders, a better man. When it disappears the next time, it'll come back up as something else. But I'll tell you this here. If martial law and when martial law hits the United States, because we know even in New York right now, there are some places that are being quarantined, right? Do you think that place in New York that is being quarantined is concerned about somebody who's regular or irregular? Do you think they're concerned about the small things that we discuss and argue over daily? I bet you Masons, period, Eastern Stars, period, are leaning and depending on each other based upon that connection alone. What's your thoughts? It's called common law, command law. Okay, command law. But I'm just saying that when that time comes, you as a Mason, if you're tripping on who's right and who's wrong, that's gonna be one of them far thoughts. You just gonna put that stuff somewhere else. You ain't gonna have time for it. You know why? Because when you greet a person, meet a person, you're gonna want to know who they are. And if that person claims to be and can prove to be who they say they are in the Masonic world, you have then found a friend. And it won't be no John G. Jones, no PHO, no PHA, no mainstream, none of that. That's going to go out the window. That's true. See, all of the things that we depend on in our Masonic lodges and we talk about, that's when the rubber gonna hit the road. You know what I'm saying? At the gravesite of Harriman, Biff, what did they do? Brothers of the craft, sisters of the order, the works that we practice now, and we sometimes use them, it's gonna come a time when those practices are going to be so vital to you, and knowing them is going to save your life. It's going to be like that. Because I would tell you this here. I believe personally that during the time of my ancestors who were escaping slavery, there were brothers and sisters of the craft, be it black or white, who assisted them along the way, put their lives in danger. I would say the same thing during the Civil War. I would say the same thing during World War I and II. On all sides of the war front, if you found out that your enemy, that you were warned against, is a Freemason, and you guys understand what the brotherhood is really like, you ain't gonna kill him. There have been stories about brothers helping and Jews helping people escape the concentration camp because they were Freemasons. There have been Germans that have helped. There are stories and books written about this stuff. We just hadn't lived it. We just haven't lived it. See, some of you need to go back and review what you said in your obligation. And when you are able to do that, then you're going to see it from a whole nother point, because some of you tend to miss murder and treason, except that it's left up to my own. Somewhere along the line, somebody didn't gravitate towards you. I'm just saying, you know. We used to fight gods escaping slavery. But it turns out we were the gods. You dig? Yeah. Traveling man, you hadn't missed much. You hadn't missed much. I'm talking about Freemasonry and martial law. And my question to you, traveling man, knowing that you are a part of a white Grand Lodge, how would you feel if martial law came down and you had to depend on another brother who wasn't necessarily mainstream or who wasn't part of a white Grand Lodge? How would you feel if you had to depend on that brother for your life? How would you feel? How would you grip him to let him know that you are part of the fraternal order? What would you do, traveling man? You being part of a white Grand Lodge of state, what would you do? If your life depended on it, and let's say, for instance, you was here in California and you knew me. I'm putting you on the spot. And you knew me. I'm just saying. What would you do? What would you do? I mean, literally to any Masons and brothers of the craft, sisters of the order, what would you do? You have to ask yourself that, because a lot of us like to play Masonry. And we enjoy the festivities of hanging out and maybe having a beer. But I'm saying this. When things really occur, and they're going to happen, there's going to come that time, and you find yourself in a desolate place amongst people you don't know, and you want to identify who you are without really putting yourself in danger, is it going to matter? Is it going to matter that that person is PHA? Is it going to matter that that person is John G. Jones? Is it going to matter what jurisdiction you are? That's the question for tonight. And if you want to call into the show and have this conversation, you're welcome to do so. That number is 619-985-1184. It looks like we're up and running tonight. We don't have any disconnect, and it's going to be a good show. So we can have that conversation. Love the night, Brother Hawkins. Welcome aboard. Well, if I am in need of assistance, I wouldn't care if the person helped me was a Mason or not. Oh, yes, you would. Yes, you would. Let me tell you why you would care. Because we know, as Masons and Eastern Stars, it's something about being part of this organization. If it wasn't so, then why are you a part of it, traveling man? If that wasn't true, then why are you a part of the Masons and Eastern Stars? Is it because it's a social organization? Is it because you can just, you just having a good time? Or is it because of its privileges? Masonry do have privileges. They do. So let's not sugarcoat it and say, oh no, yeah, come on, we do. We may not exploit them or put them out in people's faces, but Masons and those who are part of the Eastern Star around the world have privileges that other people don't have. It is a fact. And you may say, no, I'm not denying it. And I am a member because of Freemasonry and the love that I've received, and because the things that people have done for me, if I wasn't a Mason, they wouldn't have did it. For the most part, that is a fact. It's true, and I don't care what you say. That's from my own experience, and I know many of us have our own experience. But let's tell the truth tonight for a change. Most of us who are a part of Freemasonry, most of us who are a part of Freemasonry and the Order of the Eastern Star, it is not because it's some great social organization. It's a privilege to be part of the Freemason and Eastern Stars. And if you really understand it, when you find yourself in distress, it is even better to be a Mason or an Eastern Star. That's the truth. Now, granted, I have a very, very, very close friend of mine. And that man, my best friend, and it's only a couple. They're not Masons, but boy, I'm letting you know. That's how Masons are. If you are sincere about who you are in the organization. So for you to tell me, I don't care who it is, just give me the help. You care. You care. We all care. That's just the truth. I wouldn't want to be stuck like a duck or a chuck either. Masons will whisper wise counsel. Those that don't, most probably don't understand Masonry. Those that will, might as well be to you if you practice true brotherhood. Absolutely, Joseph. Better question, would you not help those who aren't part of your order? Yeah. For me, I don't care what jurisdiction you're in. If I'm in a position to assist and aid you, and you are who you say you are, and you're true to your word and bond, you got my help. You got my assistance. That's my word. Because that's all a Mason ever have is his word. Period. Let's just be honest about it. Some of us like to hide in the shadows and talking about, well, my jurisdiction, this and that and that. No, we're talking about individual Freemasons until I found him or them worthy and well qualified as I. We're talking about that type of Masonry. Now, how can you ask me a question then not accept my answer? I'm not saying that I don't accept your answers. I'm just disagreeing with it. That is your answer. If that's truly your answer, brother, I have to accept that because it's your answer. I'm just saying on the flip side of that, some of us don't like to be fully honest. And I'm not saying that you're not. Let's have a question. Let me answer that. Let me say that clearly. I'm not saying that you're not fully honest. I'm just saying from my own personal experience, boom, there it is. I find that most Masons, when looking for assistance, they don't care about your jurisdiction. But you're saying that you would take assistance from anybody. Most of us would. But your preference would be a brother Mason. And if that's not true, It is what it is. It ain't personal. That was just a question that I posed to you. I'm cool with your answer. Your answer is your answer and it fits for you. Who am I to say that you're lying when you give me your answer? It's your answer. I'm not going to do that. I would help any brother in need. That's just me. You know? And like you said, yes, I will accept assistance from anybody who's willing to help and aid me. Yes. But there's nothing like assistance coming from your brother Mason or your sister who's an Order of the Eastern Star. There's nothing like it. Because if it was something like it, then we wouldn't be Masons and Eastern Stars. Let's speak truth to power. It is. Come on now, guys. Look, when things have gone wrong in the world, and they have gone wrong, those who are Masons have assisted and aided other Masons from around the world. That is just the truth. If you read the story about George Washington and how he needed aid and assistance from other parts of the world and how the Freemasons helped him, it's written. Do you think they cared about somebody's jurisdictions? No, they didn't. This is why even during the Civil War, we have heard of stories of enemies on opposite sides stopping in battle and coming together and burying that man masonically and then go back to warring. They're written in the pages of history. Come on, we can't be that naive. I completely understand your response at Traveling Man. I don't understand how he can ask the question and then tell that you are answering is false. Yeah. You know, I'm not trying to, I want to clear the air with Traveling Man. It's his answer that he gave me and it's his truth. I'm going to accept that because it is. I just see that being a Mason, I'm not just a Mason because it's a fun organization. Let's just be honest. I'm not. Because if it was that, then I can go have fun with anybody. I can go out and party by myself and create our own group. We have social events and do. It's something special about being a Mason. Let's just take, for instance, the other day when I was doing the video in regards to the brothers in Tennessee who came together from various jurisdictions. After that storm has ripped part of that city apart and began to work together to clean up and to board buildings up and to share food and water with those who they didn't know. These people went from various jurisdictions. Do you think they was out clowning each other? Talking about, well, I can't help you because you're irregular. No, you know what they seen? They seen the essence of Freemasonry and the Order of the Eastern Star and what it should be. That's what they did in Tennessee. I have pictures to prove. I do. So tonight, the topic is Freemasonry and martial law. What do you do as a Mason, as an Eastern Star, when you find yourself in distress in various places around the world and not knowing who's who? How do you as a Mason and Eastern Star find your way? Do you depend on the mere fact, hey, that I heard y'all was clandestine? Do you do that? Or do you just say or accept that brother who grips you and say, look, I got you? Do you just accept his help based on his word? I'm just saying, because like right now, as I've said before earlier in the show, they have quarantined certain parts of the country in certain cities where they ain't letting people travel. And upstate New York is one of them, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I read an article today that said the Grand Lodge of England has said that they're asking brothers not to grip each other. That's the word on the streets, and that's the article I read. I don't know how many of you have seen it. And if you're friends of mine in one of my social groups, you can look it up for yourself. If you're in distress, no matter who is that offering relief, I will accept it. Brooklyn Looks, I'm talking about you. Yes, sir. Greetings, brothers and sisters and fellows. Welcome everybody aboard. If I have no preference, help is help. if someone needs help, I wouldn't refuse to help just because that person once wasn't a Mason. No, bro, you missing the point. No, traveling man, you missing the point. The point is that as a Mason, you know as well as I know that in time of distress and need, it goes beyond that. You don't call a regular person at 3 o'clock in the morning and expect them to get out of bed. There's only a few people that you call that early in the morning. It's going to have to be your brother, your blood brother, for the most part. Some of them will and some of them won't. Or may I say a true family member will get out of bed that early in the morning or that late at night to come get you wherever you may be. Or a very, very close friend of yours will come to assist or aid you. Those are the only people outside of Masonry that will come to your aid. Now, you may find some common people who would assist and aid, but I'm just talking about in Freemasonry. When you find that brother and sister, wherever you may be, and you find yourself in an unfamiliar area, are you concerned with whether they're regular or irregular? Are you concerned with that? Or are you accepting the help that you have reached out and you found that person to be who they claim they are? We're talking about in time of distress and need that Freemasons across the world, across the states, across the counties and borders and things like that. That's where we're at. Because I know if I found myself over the border in Mexico, oh, you don't think I'm using Freemasonry to find my way around when I know nobody? I've been over there, brother. I'm 15 minutes from the border. Tijuana, Mexico. Guadalajara, southern, south, down there south. We call it south. I'm going to have to mess that word up. But anyway, yes, I have used Freemasonry when I was down there. Yes, indeed. I ain't know not one soul. But they practice Freemasonry down there. I'm just saying. This is the beauty of being part of Freemasonry. I don't care who you are and what you claim in regards to your regularity. That goes out the door when the essence of Freemasonry come on board. That's just the truth. Brendan Lewis, I definitely pick a brother up on the road stranded who was from another jurisdiction. I'm just saying, we got to really consider that. If I was in San Diego and you called me saying you were stranded on the road, I wouldn't come and get you. I would not say you're on your own just because you're John G. Jones. No, brother, I'm saying if you was in San Diego and stranded and you knew I lived here, would you reach out? You on vacation in San Diego and you know I'm in San Diego and you was in a bad predicament or whatever your situation may be. You don't mean to tell me you wouldn't reach out to me even though we agree to disagree on whatever the case may be? Or would you call the Grand Lodge of California and say, look, my name is such and such and such. I'm from the Grand Lodge of such and such. I'm in San Diego in distress. Is that how you gonna do it? I'm just asking. I'm just peeping. I'm just asking because I remember a movie not long ago called Slim and Queen or Queen and Slim. And I remember that the uncle of the young lady who was the lawyer, her uncle was a Mason. He told her who to go and how to travel across from New Orleans down to Florida. In the process of traveling, he told her exactly what to do and where to go. I'm just saying. In that movie, and they went to places, and what did they say? You're safe here. They did. We know who you are, but you're safe here. I'm just throwing some things out tonight. I just need for us and those who are Masons and Eastern Stars and those who want to be to understand the specialty or what this fraternal order is really all about. You know, the essence, the true essence of the brotherhood. Yeah, I like to have fun and hang out with my brother Masons. I do. But I also respect the true essence of Freemasonry and the privilege that comes along with it. Because I've found privileges where I've gone and traveled in life and didn't know people. And let's just be honest about it. You know? Let's just be honest about it. Can I call in and tell you a personal story about a subject? Yeah, you can call in. What's up? What's going on with you?
What's up, brother Tony?
What's up? Now look. Now make sure we stay on topic tonight. Talk to me. So what now?
Hold on, I'm trying to put my phone on speaker. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm knocking down stuff myself, bro. Go ahead. Talk to me. I'm gonna stand up for a second. I gotta reach over and get this because I'm knocking over stuff and everything. Got it. So yeah, go ahead. Talk to me. What's the story you got for me?
Okay. Wait, let me try to put my phone on speaker really quick.
All right. While you do that, I'm gonna continue to go at it for a second because I want people to understand. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, brother Tony. I'm just trying to put my phone on speaker.
Oh, okay. So I just want people to understand Freemasonry, how special it is. Although we don't necessarily agree on all subjects and topics, but there is going to come a time in this country where it may be illegal to be a Freemason. If any of us can recall in history books in regards to Freemasonry, there was an anti-Freemasonry movement. And people was hiding their membership. That's truth. There was a time in this country that people didn't want to let people know they was a Freemason. I mean, it was really some secretive. They was really secretive. They wasn't telling nobody. They didn't, no buildings. Freemason was losing people by the hundreds of thousands because there was an anti-movement against it. And I guarantee you that there may come that time again. It just might.
Oh, pardon me, brother Tony.
No,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, cool. I just wanted to see the live chat stream as I spoke. In regards to your subject, it's a good subject. I want to tell a story, right?
Go ahead. Tell me the story, bro.
But it's a true life story. It's a real story. All right. Maybe, I say in the year, maybe 2009, somewhere around there, right?
Uh-huh.
I met a brother from Hope Lodge number 145 under the Grand Lodge of Louisiana, right?
Uh-huh.
Free and accepted Masons, mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Now the brother at the time, he was an old man, like an old white man.
Mm-hmm.
Like a senior citizen, right?
Uh-huh.
So when I met him, he knew I was a Mason. I met him in New York. So he approached me. Well, he saw the emblem and he approached me. So when he approached me, he tried me, right? He tried me masonically.
Mm-hmm.
Upon the grip. So when this is a funny story, but it's true. So he tried me with the grip. So when we went through the grip and we went through catechism and everything, there was a certain point when he tried me where I was lacking. You heard?
Go ahead.
I wasn't lacking. It just surprised me because he was an old white man.
Right.
So, like, when I was lacking, when he tried me, he was like, I'm so-and-so from Hope Lodge number 145. That's my blue lodge. And he kept it moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we linked up again shortly after that. And we started building on, upon the craft. And basically his story was that he came from Louisiana, right?
Right.
New Orleans to New York. He was a I'm not gonna say his name or any of that, but members of my lodge know who he is.
Go ahead.
But he was a businessman,
mm-hmm.
like in the oil industry, a successful businessman under the Grand Lodge of Louisiana. He had a gold card. A gold card is a proficiency card.
Okay.
Like he was one of the proficiency men under that jurisdiction. That means somebody who, in their jurisdiction, knows the ritual by heart.
Okay.
Of the blue degree, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So he was very proficient as far as the ritual and catechism.
Mm-hmm.
This man was very proficient. Like if he tried you, he's gonna ask you. He's gonna ask you everything.
Illuminated light. Oh, I got you. Yeah. I just what's the crust of your story? What happened in there? What happened?
All right, I'm gonna get to that. Sorry about taking you from New York to China, but anyway, so and me meeting him, right?
Uh-huh.
After that first interaction with him,
right?
Basically, he was in distress.
Okay.
He his business, dwindled where he was at. So he came to New York seeking to recuperate or recover.
Okay.
So, all right. So when I met him, that was our first interaction. After that, basically, he was in a situation of distress. So he appealed to me. He was like, brother, I'm in a certain situation of distress. I need such and such amount of money, which I'm not going to state, right?
Okay.
So he's like, I'm in need of a certain amount of money. So in my interaction with him, it didn't matter that he was white or mainstream. I knew he was a Mason. I knew because of our discourse.
Uh-huh.
So personally, I relieved the brother of the amount of money that he needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him the money. Like, all right, brother, here. So he went through his whole spiel as far as, his history and blah, 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 whatever.
Right.
I didn't care about that. I really didn't care.
What you're saying is there was this brother who was in distress, and he was from the mainstream Grand Lodge out of Louisiana.
Uh-huh.
And you was there at that moment where it didn't matter about race. That what mattered is that he was a Mason, you was a Mason, and you was able to assist and aid him along that journey that he found himself in distress in. Am I understanding that correctly?
Absolutely. So
go ahead.
So this story is a good story though, for a reason, because of his jurisdiction. That's why I'm mentioning him in particular.
Mm-hmm.
So he was, he got the money. He was good. Maybe about 3 weeks to a month later, he came back to me with the money, right?
Right.
That I relieved him with. He came back to me.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, yeah, brother, I told you it's good. I'm like, bro, you don't have to pay me back. It's not about that. Like, you don't have to pay me back the money. So from that point, he started to tell me a little bit more about his Masonic history, right?
Okay.
That's why I'm mentioning this. So this brother is from Grand Lodge of Louisiana, right? Free and F&AM, free and accepted Masons, mainstream. So he started to tell me, like I introduced him to different brothers too. I'm an urban Mason. This is the funny part about it. Like you have an old white man who, I'm not trying to be funny or nothing, but he like would probably kind of like, you know, Colonel Sanders is from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Right.
He'd be like a white guy that resembles that type of character, you heard? In the urban areas in New York City. So certain people in the urban areas, they like, who's this? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, what is he doing out here? Like, nah, that's a brother Mason. You know? Like,
right.
He's good. Anyway, so he started telling me more about his Masonic history. So he told me in short, he was like, listen, when I left from Louisiana, his first interactions with the Black Masonic community was he left from Louisiana and came into Washington, D.C., right?
Okay, so he left Louisiana, came to Washington, D.C. You gotta speed it up a little bit more. I mean, you got me excited about the story. I need for you to go on to the to hit it.
All right, bro. So he's like, listen, first I came to Washington, D.C. He started meeting different Black Masons over there. And basically he was like, at that time, he got suspended from his jurisdiction for non-payment of dues, right? So he was like, he was kind of not stranded. He was kind of like stranded in as far as the white Masonic community because he didn't pay his dues up at the time.
Okay.
But he still had his traveling card.
Right.
So he was like, you know, I ran across certain Black Masons in Washington, D.C. He's like, the first brothers I ran across were Prince Hall, Mason. So he's like, I needed help. Like, he was stranded business-wise. Like, he lost everything as far as business. It happened sometimes. So he's like, he came across Prince Hall brothers in Washington, D.C., and he was like, one of the brothers had lifted his sleeve up. Not his, one of the Prince Hall brothers lifted his own sleeve up and showed him a Masonic tattoo. You heard?
Travis, thank you. I appreciate that. But go ahead.
With the square and the compass, and was like, yeah, I got you, bro. So long story short, he was like, you know that the Grand Lodge of Louisiana doesn't accept Blacks as Masons. I'm mentioning this for a reason on your live stream. So he explained to me, he's like, bro, the way that I came up in Masonry in Louisiana is that Blacks can't be Masons. He's like, I'm keeping it real with you. This is the Grand Lodge of Louisiana.
Right.
In the South. So he's like, bro, the way I was brought into Masonry, he's like, a Black man cannot be a Mason. He's like, that's how I was trained in Masonry. So he's like, no Black is a Mason to me as before I came to the East Coast. So he's like, once I came to the East Coast, first in Washington, D.C., he's like, the first brothers that relieved me were Prince Hall. He's like, and I accepted the relief, even though I was trained to not accept them as Masons. He's like, but when I was down and out, they came through for me.
And see, that's the point we were talking about tonight, is when a person finds himself in that particular incident, you're looking for a brother Mason. And you're looking for those who are true to the craft. And we're talking about true Masons, those real Masons. It doesn't matter about jurisdiction, because as I've said, and I'm quite sure many others have stories about reaching out across different jurisdictions and really showing the essence of Freemasonry. Your story hits right on home. So when we take these obligations and oath, do we really know what we're saying? Because it crosses all boundaries of races. And a lot of people like to say, well, Hawkins, you divide the races. You always talk about white Masons and Black Masons. There is that essence in there. Let's just be honest. There is that essence in there, and you pointed it out tonight. But beyond that essence, there are some real brothers, period, who really understands the craft, and when things happens in life, and they will happen, they are there at your beck and need. Those are the type of Masons that we should strive to be. Those are the type of sisters that we should strive to be. Those sisters who don't mind reaching across the various jurisdictions if they get the phone call and to go and aid and assist. Those sisters who don't mind picking up a sister and taking them wherever they need to go, and it doesn't matter about their jurisdictions. And the same thing goes for the brotherhood. So tonight we're talking about that. This is where you find Freemasonry at its best, because we know that during the time of World War II, that those Jews who was in the concentration camp used masonry. And the reason they used a four-leaf clover, and the color was yellow, to identify that they had a Freemasonry connection. And we also know, as history has told us, that they met as Masons in these concentration camps. We also know that there were certain Jews who helped those Jews who were Masons to escape. They point these out in history books. But what we have done with Freemasonry today is water it down. What we have done with Freemasonry today, we've flipped the script, some damn social club. Freemasonry is better than that. It's bigger than that. It's going to be left up to us. I'm talking about some real brothers to really bring back that essence of Freemasonry beyond jurisdictional boundaries. I'm not talking about sitting in your lodge. Forget all that sitting in your lodge stuff. I'm talking about some real masonry, to where you see a brother, meet a brother, greet a brother, and find that that person is who they claim they are. This is what we're talking about tonight. So as in our journey, when in our journey as Masons, as Eastern Stars, as people we profess to be part of this great fraternal order, this is where you find the beauty. Like the brothers and the sisters did in Tennessee last week. This is where you find that essence of Freemasonry at, beyond the boundaries of the bickering and who's this and who's that. And that's what I love about the organization. That's why I became a Freemason. All that other stuff wasn't even on my mind. If I want to go party, I party with the boys. But to be a Mason is different than having a party with the boys. It's bigger than that. But we have allowed, and we haven't been protecting the organization. Because we've had people to come in and steal money. I don't care what jurisdiction you're in. People have stole money from your Grand Lodge. People have stole money from your lodge and your chapter. That's our fault, that we've allowed people that had no character to come into the organization and give it a black eye. You know, there was a time that being a Mason meant something. That when you walked into a place, people understood that you was part of something bigger and greater. Now they look at you and ask you if you want to just have a party the next day. When y'all next party at the hall, bruh? I love it, man. We tore down. You know, we did this and we did that. No. This is what we're talking about tonight.
Bro Hawkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. I'm reading the comment section. I see one person, Travis Rachel. Who are you? I don't know you. I read what these certain people say. Like, this man is trolling us. Who are you, Travis Rachel? Like, where you be? Who are you?
Who is
where
that?
Where do you hail from? Who are you?
Who? Travis Rachel?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be funny on your channel, but you have certain bozos that just say anything.
Well, yeah, my administrator on. If it's, my administrator is on, so he can remove the comment if it's disrespectful. But if it's not, it's cool.
Have to. It's just funny. Like, I don't know who you are. But anyway, though.
Wait a minute. Hold
on.
I'm going to answer this. Brother Lewis says, I think you're assuming Traveling Man would treat you a certain way simply because his Grand Lodge isn't in communication with John G. Jones. Are you still human? And he respects that. Oh, you're right in the essence that I do believe that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I ain't sugarcoating nothing. I do believe that Traveling Man would treat me different. Not that I'm not a human and he wouldn't find it in his place, or may say, well, you know, he's a human being, I'm going to assist him. No. I'm looking beyond the mere essence of just being a human, because we know in Freemason you are to respect the next man. You are to assist your human being when you find them in distress. We got that part. But the essence of Freemasonry, as you know, that when you have the VSL on your altar, it says that you would that you would work within the boundaries, okay, of the sacred law, but more especially your brother Mason. Come on now. This is what are we talking about? More especially your brother Masons. Not just because he's a fellow human. We all want to do right by our fellow human. You know?
But what about this, Brother Hawkins? What if you were in distress? That's the opposite end of the coin. The other person could be in distress, but what if you were in distress?
What about me being in distress?
I'm saying, like,
if I was in distress,
that's what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
The person can say, I would accept your help because I'm in trouble. Well, what if that person, what if you were in trouble and this person is supposed to be opposed to your jurisdiction masonically? What if you were in trouble? Meaning, what if Brother Tony Hawkins is in trouble? And, okay, he's John G. Jones affiliated. Are you going to extend a hand if he's in trouble?
I don't know. You have to ask him that. I mean,
I know. You can't answer the question. I'm just saying that to those individuals.
He had a bill us up the story. Yeah. You know, I'm kind of catching up in the chat room myself. But tonight, as we move forward in the ideal of talking in regards to the essence of Freemasonry and martial law, I would imagine that the stories I've read out of books and people who are Masons from various jurisdictions and were even enemies at one time, but because of the commonality of the fraternal order, they understood that Masonry went beyond that. And there they found a friend. This is what we're talking about tonight. Because we know, as I've said before, even in California, that there's this little town, a little city, and they have quarantined that spot. They're like, no, ain't no movement here. No movement. Everybody be still. There will be no going out of these boundaries. Do you think that Freemason won't come into play? Do you really believe that? And that's my question tonight in regards to Freemasonry. You know, do you not think that Freemasonry is going to play a part in the seriousness that we may find ourselves in one day in this country? You know, this country has always taken war to other people. We've done it. But what if somebody brought war here? What if someone caused disharmony here? Where does Freemasonry play a part? And this is where I'm at, because I truly believe that Freemasonry would vanish, it would go underground, and only those who have been initiated and understand the craft would be accepted and would receive help from another Freemason. I'm not saying that I wouldn't help anybody else. I'm not saying that brother wouldn't help anybody else. But what I am saying is that the help itself would be more so extended to that brother Mason or to that sister who's a member of the Order of the Eastern Star. And that's true.
I think you're saying this, Brother Tony Hawkins. I think. And for example, maybe a few weeks ago I was coming home from work, right?
Right.
And there's some cats on the avenue. They're like, yo, they see my jewelry, you know? Like, I wear a lot of diamonds. They see my jewelry, so the dudes are like, yo, you think you can help me out with a few dollars to feed my daughter, right? Literally, This is in Brooklyn. So I look at him. I'm like, what you mean? I'm going somewhere. I tell them like I'm on a mission right now. I'm going somewhere. Like, come on, all you got to do is come in the store, and it's easy, 1, 2, 3. And the way I'm thinking about it, being a street person, I'm like, to me, I don't want to sound crazy, but I'm like, yo, bro, if I had to feed my daughter personally, I'm not going to be sitting on the street begging for no money. But I'll tell you this, I didn't help them. That's the gist of what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't care if you're on the side of the road, because you have panhandlers, especially in New York City. Anybody could go asking for money, right? I'm starving. I need to feed my family, whatever. But had those brothers been Mason, for me personally, right? Had they been Mason, I would guarantee y'all I would be more apt to help them. Personally, it would have been a different situation. I would believe them more. You get what I'm saying?
Right. So
I would believe they literally needed the help.
I'm going to answer this question real quick that came up from Traveling Man. Traveling Man said, Tony, didn't I offer to drive 80 miles to see you when you came to my state, which was Detroit? So what would I do if you would treat you different in your time of need? You have to apply logic here. Okay, Traveling Man, you did offer to come sit and have a conversation with me as I was in Detroit a few weeks ago. You did. You said, hey, bro, if you come to Detroit, I think the dates was mixed up or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, you can correct me. And you said, you come to Detroit, you let me know, I come down. You said that. Now, that's all good and well. That's fine, Traveling Man. And I won't deny that. I can't deny that because it was offered. And I'm man enough to say that. But what I'm saying on the other side, I'm looking at Freemasonry in its true essence of what the fraternal order is. Not just this friendship that you and I assume that we may have. And I say assume because I don't really know you. You don't really know me. We come on here and we talk. But what's the bond? What's the trust factor? Because you think that you're a black man, I'm supposed to be okay and everything. No. I'm just really being honest. Is it because we have this common thing in Freemasonry? You may consider me to be clandestine, but yet you consider me to say that may be a cool dude. I may want to get to know him. So I'm just looking at it from another point of view. No disrespect to you as far as saying, hey, you know what? I drive 80 miles to see you. That's nothing. I've done that too. I've had brothers that come to LA, give me a call. Hey, I'm in LA. Cool. Tell me where you at. I'm coming. I've done that. I understand that. I got that part, but I'm looking at it.
But are you gonna do that for any stranger that just called you?
That's my point. That's just part of my point.
But for Brother Mason, that was a part of my story. Even though you had a couple of trolls who's like, what's the point of his story? The point of the story is that when a person is a Brother Mason, and you can verify that, not through jurisdiction, like with the Traveling Man, quote unquote. Like, come on, bro, you try to beef with anybody that's not mainstream. That's a fact, kid. You try to beef. So what is really your point? You try to beef with anybody. That's not part of what you're a part of. So if a person is a Mason and you know them to be that, spiritually, you're going to go the extra. I would.
And that's
Tony Hawkins would. And possibly even a Traveling Man would. But he just caught up in his jurisdictional bullcrap.
Well,
so,
but see, this is where this brother from Harlem Grand Lodge made his statement. He says, brother, we need to get back to the true meaning of masonry because it is an honor to call yourself a Mason. It is. It is truly an honor to be part of this great fraternal order. No doubt about it. That's a fact, because if it wasn't, most of us wouldn't be Masons. I know I wouldn't. Really, a Freemasonry at the time I came in didn't have that it factor about itself. Hey, I could have, I'm already part of a fraternity. I already know brothers who are alphas and crews and sigmas and everything else. I could have just been hanging out with them. And they got their own little signs and all of that stuff. I mean, most do. But it's just the essence. It's something else about being a Mason. It is. To be an Omega, Alpha, and a Beta, a Sigma, it's different to be a Mason. It's just different.
Yeah. This person that this person.
So what now?
This person that I real deal made him mad. We just wanted him. You didn't, Travis, Rachel, or whoever you are. You didn't make me mad. I don't even know you.
Oh yeah,
to me, you don't even. No, I'm just being funny. I don't even know you. Like, you don't matter to me.
Oh.
Nobody knows who you are, so you definitely wouldn't get me mad.
Okay.
Just to be honest with you. But anyway.
Dexter. Dexter Rochelle says, can we travel about if we were locked down? You know what? If you lock down, there will be no traveling about. But that's why, see, if you're locked down, there would be no traveling about. But I guarantee you this. I'm betting my last dollar that being a Mason and being locked down, you would be able to travel. Because the essence of Freemasonry would allow that. The trueness of the brotherhood, the trueness of the sisterhood allows that. Because we have stories. Look, if you're a Mason, you got stories. We just heard from Illuminating Light and his story. We got stories about how we have found favor or have given favor to people, individuals who were Masons and we didn't know who they were. But because of that bond that Masons have, I'm talking about true Masons. I ain't talking about this bickering stuff. That's for the birds. That's for little people. I've grown up a little bit now. So I'm talking about the true essence of Freemasonry. Look, man, it's great. I don't know about any of you, but I'm a Mason because it is a great organization. I'm a Mason because of the brotherhood and what it means and stands for. That's why I'm a Mason. That's why I wanted to join. It wasn't about who's legit, it had nothing to do with that. It was the men that I was introduced to that had that was older and who they were in the community, what they it was just a beautiful thing for me as a young person in 87 coming into Freemasonry and saying like, wow, I want to be like him. Wow, I want to be part of that. That is what drew me in after I left Mississippi, knowing that at the time I was putting in my application back there, but coming out here, it was beautiful, And I found my my first receipt. It cost me $25 to become a Mason in 1987. $25. I was like, damn. Oh my God. All right, let me see what else I got up here tonight. I know we're going on about an hour and 3 minutes. We're going to get ready to lock down the show tonight. Is Illuminating Light on? Yes, Illuminating Light is on the phone. Thank you. More science is in the sciences of our craft. Whew. Is more science in the science of our craft? I'm going to say yes. I know some people are going to give me the kickback on it. I'm just going to say yes. That's going to be a good show. And I know the right person to bring on the show to talk about that. Tell the people that they are gods and goddess. I don't have to tell them if they already know. And if they don't know, then they need to go do some research about who they are. If you don't already know. That's the best I can tell you. I don't care if you are the sun or the moon. I'm neither. Oh my goodness. So look, guys, we're coming to the end of the show tonight. I just want to say thank you for being up with me wherever you may be at. please, if you want to make a contribution to the show, you can PayPal. And I should have had that in the thing tonight, but I didn't have it in. And what we're going to do, we're going to try to expand this over to a Patriot account. I'm kind of learning about that. For some of you have really encouraged that we do that. Man, there's some information I want to say on here, but I can't say it because it's really the public. Man, I'm telling you, there's just some things I be wanting to say, and I can't say them because of my obligation to the craft. I can't say them publicly. But I know for a fact that most of my inspector generals, grand inspector generals, have no freaking clue about the encampment in that picture I put up in my last show that I was going to do. I know that they don't know because they just paid for a degree. And I want so bad to go into that encampment, and I can't, because if I go into the encampment, I'm going to start revealing some things that is not necessarily for the public. It's just that simple. It's not. I'm not trying to put up anything, but it you know.
Brother Larry Diamond came on.
Huh?
The Brother Larry Diamond came on, the moderator.
Yeah, Brother Larry Diamond. We Brother Larry Diamond, myself, and a couple other brothers, we broke bread a couple of days ago. We had a great fellowship. He came down from Lancaster, California to see me. That brother right there, yeah, you talking about 80 miles. he came a lot further than 80 miles to hang out with me, and I appreciate that. That's real. That's real right there. All right, what else? Let me see. The real deal made him mad. Oh no, we're not gonna skip that one. Damn, that was very conceited. I don't know what that one's all about. We have midwinter coming up this weekend, brother. You have where are you gonna be at? Where's your midwinter going to be at? For Ham Grand Lodge, where's your midwinter going to be at this weekend? Do it better than that. It is better. You asked me a question specifically to you, not anyone related to a stranger. Why would I have a stranger phone number? I'm not going to go into that one, Traveler Man. I was just trying to make examples and use different metaphors as for a stranger versus someone you know that's in the same fraternal order that you're in, different jurisdiction. That's why I was using strangers, okay? That's why I was using that. Nothing more. Any advice for a newly raised brother? My advice to any new Mason, initiated, passed, and raised, is to treat every brother that you come across, every sister you come across, with due respect, regardless of the jurisdiction. That is my advice to you. Treat them with due respect. If your jurisdiction don't recognize them, it's okay. But treat them with respect, okay? Treat them with the same respect that you would want to be treated with. If they can't come sit in your lodge, that's okay. Go have a beer. Go get a pizza. Go out and have fun. Get to know each other. Masonry is something that you have in common. You don't have to talk about it. You go to lodge meetings or chapters meetings. You don't have to talk about it, but what you can do is build a relationship, build a bond, a sisterhood, a brotherhood, and show what it means to be part of this great organization. That's what you can do as a newly raised Master Mason, a newly initiated sister of the Order of the Eastern Star. That's what you can do. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, we need to get back to the authentic part of Freemasonry. Okay, I think this brother tried to say that women have a different standard in the OES. Inspiration words. Let's see. I'm just strolling up just to see what we got in the chat tonight. Yes, indeed, Freemasonry is much more of a higher science than the Greek fraternities. Oh, dude, it is. Yes, it is. I love the fellowship too there, Brother Larry. The one and only who owns the waters in me is God. I missed that. Oh, it's gone. Damn, he took it down. Okay, I missed that. Test that squirt against all Masons. Oh, test that spirit against all Masons worldwide. Well, as we get ready to lock it down tonight, I'd say I want to appreciate you. I hope you got something out of this. I just want you to think of it. Look at Freemasonry beyond where you're at in the brotherhood for what it is, what it could be. And you want to leave Freemasonry better than where you found it. And when I say that, by the time I turn 75, I shouldn't be hearing brothers talk about you're clandestine and you're bogus. We should be talking about how we've elevated men to a higher level. I'm just saying. Now, if we're going to be still talking about that, then Masonry hadn't made anybody better. It hadn't done anything for anybody. If this is where you're going to be at when you're old in Masonry, oh my God. What am I talking? I feel like an elder now because I've been around for a minute. If that's where you're going to be at when you become an elder in Freemasonry in the Order of the Eastern Star, debating who's legit and who's not, you haven't done anything for Freemasonry. You haven't, because you're still talking about stuff that is not relevant anymore, you know. And believe me, I was in those chat rooms hot about 6 years ago. And I was a past Grand Master. And I was trying to just get people to see things from another point of view. And they wasn't having it. And me being the age I am, I'm like, okay. Every now and then I had some fun. But there comes a time in life where you have to elevate and leave those other people behind because they're not ready to go where you're going. Understand me and hear me clearly. In life, you have to elevate. And when you elevate, you're going to leave some people behind because they're not ready to go where you're going. They're just not ready for it. And they may be mad at you, but that's okay. They're just not ready for it. So we're going to close out tonight's show. Peace, be well, and whatever you do, stay at the bushes, keep your light on. As we progress in this thing we call Masonry, we want the true essence of the brotherhood to be exemplified and shown. So peace, be well, and much love to everybody. And thank you, Illuminating Light, for coming on tonight's show. I appreciate you as always. I look forward to seeing you very soon if all goes well. And my job tells me you can travel.
Likewise,
because right
brother.
now in the medical field, it's like, we don't know if we want to let you go anywhere right now. That's the truth, brother. That's the truth. So thanks to everybody. I appreciate it. To Larry Diamond, thank you. Peace and be well. I'm out. Oh, yeah. Hit the like button. Thank you very much. Hit the like button.